In the past 24 to 48 hours, it seems like the pariah of the gaming industry, EA, has a lot to say. None of it's really good. So EA confirms that Anthem is delayed, but they also say that a new Battlefield game is coming in October. This correlates with all the rumors that broke a while ago about there being a Battlefield Vietnam or Battlefield Bad Company 3. The new idea is it's either going to be World War II with Bad Company or, I don't know, Bad Company. I just don't really know anymore because everything just keeps changing. And now that I'm kind of tired of EA, I don't care about Battlefield games, which is weird that I would say that, because there was a point where, Battlefield was just like the game when it came to first-person shooters on a mass appeal, and now it's just kind of like, I look at Battlefield like Call of Duty, and that's really sad. And the only ones to blame are EA. So with that information coming out, you sit there and think, well, whatever. I mean, it can't get any worse, right? But then you hear EA talking about PUBG and how the Battlefield team is looking at their own new and innovative ways to play.
Hell no. To the no, 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 hell to the no, hell to the no, to the no, no, no.
Which basically means they're now gonna fuck up Battlefield to be kind of like PUBG. Like, they'll probably add some sort of PUBG mode. It's like, we don't need or want that from Battlefield. But EA is so far out of touch with their community, and I'm gonna dare say that even DICE is out of touch if they're looking at this and thinking we should add something like this. Do you know why they're doing it? Because they see dollar signs. They see how popular PUBG is, and they think, well, with the Frostbite engine, they could obviously make a Battle Royale game that looks better. Like, why not just do a new IP or something, dude? Just do something new. Don't do it with Battlefield. Because then, what little credibility you have with the community will turn on you. The people will hate you even more, and it's possible to be hated more than Hitler, apparently. The success of PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds cannot be denied, and the reports earlier the game has already surpassed 30 million players ever since the release back in March of last year. During EA's most recent earnings call with interviewer CEO Andrew Wilson commented on the game's success. Because CEOs only know success. They see something going big somewhere else, then they're like, we gotta go do that too because we want a piece of the action. The video gaming industry is now like the music industry. I said this in a tweet earlier. And back when the music industry was making a lot of money, all they ever did was like some formula would work, like a boy band or something, or metal bands with hair bands or whatever. And then everybody would jump on that, and they'd ride it into the ground until something else came out. And, like when Nirvana came and destroyed all the hair metal bands. And then all the record companies started looking for their own Seattle bands. Specifically, it was like a wave of Seattle bands. That's how fucking devoid of ideas they are. And we're now in that instance where all of a sudden, battle royales are the thing because PUBG is so wildly successful. What really did it for PUBG is they knew how to market correctly. Something a lot of these fuckers could learn. But anyway, Andrew Wilson said, in terms of PUBG, again, I think what you discover in the industry is that a lot of great vector that drives players' engagement. Wilson also replied when asked in 2017's hit game, and one of those is just innovation in the core gameplay mechanic. And the team with PUBG have done is really deliver a new level of innovation that changed the way people were playing first-person shooter games. And we are very respectful and complimentary what they have been able to do. The thing is, Battle Royale's been around forever. It's been an ARMA. PUBG was straight up just the Battle Royale mode, and that's what blew up. I think King of the Hill mode is great in ARMA, but we'll never see a game mode like that from a big company unless there's a King of the Hill specifically game. Alright, instead of just reading the quote, I'm going to try and break it down in my own way because I don't know if it's written wrong or if the guy actually talks like this, but who gives a shit. Clearly this is a very popular gaming mode people are interested in, and of course when people are interested in it, EA just starts, I smell money. So they are now looking at it, and they also say that they have the best shooters in the marketplace. I'd argue to say EA had the best shooters in the marketplace, not have, had, past tense. You might expect them to also be thinking about making a PUBG clone. But they're insisting that they're not going to replicate PUBG inside of Battlefield, supposedly. They're not even insisting that. They're just saying it doesn't mean that a PUBG replica will happen in Battlefield universe. It just means that their Battlefield team is probably looking at everything and thinking about how they can incorporate these elements into their own game. I mean, let's be for real. PUBG's map design is not amazing at all. It's not awe-inspiring. It's not amazing. PUBG's map design is a whole lot of fucking running, collecting shit, taking pot shots, trying to get to the zone, and then hoping you're the last to survive. That's pretty much it. There's nothing special there in map design. The game is buggy as fuck, but everybody's playing it, so often I have to play because my friends are playing, and if I want to play something with everybody else, it's usually PUBG until some new stuff comes out, and I cannot wait for that, dude. And frankly, I hope EA has enough brains to pay attention to the community, which they do not. Because if they did, they'd know people are already saying they're not interested in anything PUBG related in Battlefield, which makes perfect sense. If you buy a Battlefield game, or maybe they're going to try something Star Wars, whatever, you're there because you want that game. You're not there because you want to play another game from a different game. I mean, it makes no sense. I hope they come up with a new IP if they're just going to do like a Battle Royale game. Just do that. For the love of God. Use the Frostbite engine and fuck off. Don't mess anything else up. But knowing EA, they'll probably put it out. It'll have realistic graphics and a lot of microtransactions. It'll probably be a beautiful game and people will still be mad at it because EA will find a way to try and just nickel and dime the living fuck out of you. Because that's all they ever do. They don't learn. They don't care. They won't care until it's too late. And in the final bit of EA messing up news, Battlefront 2 doesn't hit its sales expectations. I don't know how anyone didn't see this coming, but I guess EA must have really underestimated the community of gamers. So from what I could gather, Battlefield only sold 9 million copies, which is only 1 million short of their 10 million sales projection. And frankly, with all the things that have gone wrong, all the controversy, the backlash they received, I think selling 1 million short of the goal is pretty damn good. That fucking dog, dude, I swear. The Wall Street Journal reported EA's sales. I don't even see how this is a bad thing. While it's expected to sell 1 and 3 million more units by the end of 2018, these sales fall short of basically Battlefront 1, which I think sold 13 or 14 million copies by the end of 2016. Here's the thing that they seem to fail to forget. Everyone was so stoked for Battlefield 1 because nostalgia, really, that they didn't see the writing on the wall. Even after playing the beta, nobody wanted to believe it. There's just everybody holding out hope against hope that EA was going to deliver. And what they did deliver was a rushed pile of shit. And it's the old saying, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. On top of that, all the things that went wrong with Battlefront 2, the basic pay-to-win game mechanic they came up with and thought people were just going to take it, they made a free-to-play game mechanic in a game you paid full price for, and expected everyone to be fine with it. That's what's amazing. Well, Blake Jurgensen basically blames the missed sales projections on the controversy surrounding the loot boxes, which also led to US legislators wanting to limit loot box sales. Because EA is, they're douchebags, really, when you think about it. Like, all these other companies had loot boxes running and gunning, they were making tons of money, and it wasn't as bad, you know? Like, there were guys like me complaining, but still, you know, it was to the point of where they just flew under the radar, willy-nilly, it's the gold rush, do what you please, getting that money. And then EA comes in and they're like, oh, we're going to show you guys how to really make money. We're going to super exploit the community. Watch this. You know, it's like that kid, you know, when you're outside playing and he just runs out and he screams some crazy shit like, I'm going to do a triple axle bypass backflip. And then he tries and he totally fucks up and crashes into a fence and knocks down a hornet's nest. And then the hornets fall on top of him and they start stinging the shit out of him. And the dude is allergic to the hornets, so they're like tearing his ass up. And he's like, ow! Point being, EA's that kid. They hit the hornet's nest. They tried to rob everybody. They thought they could get away with it. They figured the Star Wars IP could carry them to freedom of doing whatever they wanted because the Star Wars fans are rabid. They'll buy anything. Maybe you should have thought twice about trying to fuck over the fans. Maybe if you just reskinned the original Battlefront 2, you could have been heroes. No, you had to be fucking douchebags about it. So now they're going to bring back microtransactions in a few months. But really, that's not surprising. They told you the second they took down the microtransactions, they were going to bring them back. I mean, remember when they took down the microtransactions and everybody's celebrating like we won something? And then I like circle that one spot in the fine print at the bottom where they said microtransactions will come back later. Well, they're definitely coming back now. And the excuse is, well, we didn't make enough money, so we want the microtransactions back so we can hopefully get a few nickels and dimes from the 10% of you willing to pay us for this bullshit. It's over. EA's over. Supposedly there's talks of Microsoft wanting to buy EA, which could be interesting. On one hand, if Microsoft buys EA, they could have exclusives, but they probably won't because Minecraft isn't exclusive. 2, a lot of sales come from PlayStation, so I don't know if EA want to get rid of half of their sales for shareholders. You know, like, hey, we're going to sell ourselves to Microsoft. And then the shareholders are like, oh, well, how's that hurt our bottom line? Well, you're probably going to sell like half the games we sold before. Unless, you know, Microsoft buys the shareholders out. So who knows? And really, in the end, who gives a shit? Because frankly, EA's dead. They're over. And my dog's a pain in the ass. I did tell people I'd check out the Xbox Nation podcast where they basically jizz all over the idea of Microsoft buying Steam and buying EA and some other company. It's real funny, like fan fantasy, so I'll get on that in a bit. It could be hilarious. I'm told it's very funny what Crack Gamer has to say, so I'm sure he has retarded views. And you know what? I'm going to get out of here because I overtalked. I didn't really read the articles. I just pontificated on this and got lost in what I was doing. What in the name of God? A movie of Jackie Chan, Arnold Schwarzenegger, 2 old men? Doing what? Get this shit out of my face. Fuck you, IGN. I can't stand you.